Okay, so Mike has a question that really does follow up on Tyson's question. My question is this. I am really enjoying kettlebell work, and I have added walking to my routine, as you have talked about in the post-workout walk, and I love it. If I have 15 minutes to work out, would you find it better to do kettlebell work for 15 minutes and walk for 30, or do kettlebell work for 30 minutes and walk for 15? And then Mike says, my guess is it depends. But then he adds an important point. At age 50, I'm a lifelong athlete who also does sprints once per week, and I'm rebuilding a once per week steady state run from 30 to 60 minutes. I would say that my goals are health, longevity, and mobility, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that I also want to look good, of course. Okay, let's answer that question first. He has a second one here. With that steady state running and the sprints, you're covering the cardio side really well. You might be able to get away with the 30-minute kettlebell workout and the 15-minute walk. What's great about the walk is it's great for your back. It's great for your blood chemistry, especially when it comes to that glucose stuff. It's great. But with the other two workouts you're throwing in, you're probably covering it. Most of the people I work with don't do sprints and long distance run at 30 to 60 minutes a week. So for them, push more walking. In my case, I Olympic lift and then I go for a walk. The walk does help with my body composition, so I'll look good. But it also helps with my whole spine. It also helps with, everything. Walking is one of the best things you can do for your brain. Walking is one of the best things you do for your joint health. It's stealing when it comes to fitness and improvement. So in your case, I'd go with the 30-minute kettlebell workout and the 15-minute walk. And don't forget you have some other options, 20, 25 minutes, and play around with a little bit of that. The 20-minute kettlebell workout, you can get a lot of work done, and a 25-minute walk, you're going to be right on that anyway, okay? So your follow-up question is this. My second question is this. Is it just me, or is swimming laps an excellent core workout? Our family recently took a family vacation and rented a home with a pool. Well, fancy you, Mike. I both swam laps and just spent time playing in the water, and my body feels so well tied together with strength emanating from my core. Just curious about your thoughts. I know you mentioned doing triathlons for a season. Yeah, when I got back from the Middle East, I was not doing well physically. I had a little issue, a bad one. And then the school secretary asked me to move her typewriter, and I leaned over too much, and I leaned in instead of hinge, and I had this. If you've ever had a back go out, it feels like you got hit by a lightning bolt. And so my doctor told me to take up bilateral swimming and bike riding, and I figured I might as well run triathlons. So, as well as swimming in the Galway Bay, and he says in the UK, that's in Ireland. Come on now. When you go to Salt Hill and you jump in the Galway Bay, swimming, yeah, some people do swim. I would say I just freeze, and I love it. Thanks, and I love the podcast. My birthday is coming up, and my gift this year will be the armor building formula. Good for you. The thing about the problem we have with swimming is kind of like the problem we have with running, at least in the United States. A little is good, but no one does that. So you have to, if you're not training, like Michael Phelps, you're not in the pool 7 hours a day. What a waste. Weird thing is, don't forget what else you said. You said you did laps. Now, I think doing laps really does teach the body a lot of things. Yeah, and you're right. It does teach, from stem to stern, it teaches you that the body is one piece. But you also mentioned that you were playing in the water. And I've just had the opportunity to go and visit and play with my grandson in North Carolina. And of course, the place I stay at has a pool, not a fancy pool like you have. But, playing with my grandson in the pool and these silly games we play, and you go backwards, you go forwards, you move around. Having that constant resistance on your body and all these different the pressure of the water and all these different places. You'll notice when you're done after a day of swimming in the sun, it's nappy time when you get in. So I think there's two things. I think swimming is wonderful, but I also think just having some fun in the pool is wonderful too. If you ever play a game like water volleyball, you put the net up high enough so it's nearly impossible to spike. So to spike, you really have to torpedo out of the water, and you fall over and you fall in and you scramble. It is a wonderful exercise. I mean, we should even have danjohnuniversity.com, water volleyball tournament somewhere. So I hope I answered your question. I think swimming is, especially for the bigger engines, walking and swimming are just such good targets. They're such good things to get into. Now the downside of swimming, and a lot of us are already probably thinking that, availability. If you live there in Galway and you can, you on your way home from work, you can pull over at Salt Hill and go for an ocean swim, or you live in a place that has a pool open year round. Yeah. But for some of us, we just don't have those options. I said, this is a little off tack, but I remember I was at a hotel one time and we walked past the hot tub and someone said, I can't wait to jump in. And I looked and the water was a bright yellow green. So, I've always had my own hot tubs, and my hot tubs are either look blue or they look crystal clear, and there's no yellow or green. Sometimes public pools aren't the best environment to get a workout in. Of course, the ocean has, sharks, but I think it's great. But I want you to remember that you were playing in the water. And I got to tell you, Mike, that was a fun question. I'd like to see you experiment around with 15-minute kettlebell workouts, 20-minute kettlebell workouts, and 25. See if we can cut the fluff out of them so that you increase your walk. And when you get a chance, jump back in the pool.